Hi, Linda Bowen here from StampingWithLinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. Today is Friday and technique video, and I am just going to show you some tips using the Picture This dies. These dies are in the annual catalog, and there is the rectangle one and there is a circle one. Now I am going to be using the Simply Marvelous Designer Series paper. This is a free item now until the end of the month, or while supplies last, during our celebration sale here in February of 2022. So I want to use this paper with this die, so I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And the cool thing is when you use this die, you get product that you can use for two different cards. So I'll show you how I'm going to be doing that. So I'm going to just set that die down, and then I'm going to run it through. Now I have to say I did not use this die very much when I first got it because I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to put in the little squares. But let me get this machine aside. Like I said, you get enough for two different cards, so I will save these pieces and be able to use them on another card. So it has cut out and stitched around, but what I'm going to be using is the Driving By set, which is another celebration set. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the die cut on top of a piece of basic white, the same size, 3 3/4 by 5. And what I want to do is I want to just take a pencil and mark the corners of this die so that I know where they're at. I can erase them when I'm done, but then when I lift it up, I know where I want to stamp. So what I'm going to use again is that Driving By stamp set, a free stamp set during the same sale celebration. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and stamp the Volkswagen bus. I think this Simply Marvelous Designer Series paper is perfect with this stamp set because it looks psychedelic to me, and the Marvelous paper does too with these cars. So what I have done is used my guide and have stamped my cars like so. Now I can erase those lines, but I'm going to go ahead and bring in a piece that I have already colored in with my blends. Then I'm going to bring this in and match it up like so. And I may be a little off from what I did my original one. Let's see if we can get it lined up, because of course the paper is not right on, but that's not a problem. We're going to go ahead and put our adhesive on, and then we can always trim it. If you're using the same piece of paper that you die cut, of course your stamped images would be the same, but since I used or die cut and marked where I was going to stamp first, they don't line up perfectly, so I'm just going to go in and trim off that excess so you don't see that. Again, this is the Driving By stamp set that I used, and I've already taken from my Stitch So Sweetly dies and have stamped that Driving By, and I'm going to place that right there. Let's see, let's move it over a little bit. I've got a piece of basic black. This measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. We're going to add that right in there. Bring in my cardstock standard card paste, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I scored it at the 4 1/4. Now I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus, and you've noticed it kind of pulled up the cardstock. I find that on some of the cardstock and Designer Series paper, and when that happens, you just want to lighten up on the pressure that you're putting on your adhesive. But there you have a fun card using the Picture This die set and the Simply Marvelous Designer Series paper. Now remember, I had those little pieces. Wanted to show you a card. This is in a different color. I used the purples, but I took the squares that I cut out and then did daisies. So did another card using the same Picture This die, but just used the Designer Series paper that I cut out. Hope you've enjoyed this little tip with the Picture This dies and the Simply Marvelous Designer Series paper. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.